Hi, Tom Coley, coach for Buckeye Cable and BCSN, and welcome into another edition of Sports Flash. And it's certainly an honor and a privilege for me to welcome in the outstanding commissioner of the TAC and a great friend, Rick Kaifas. Commissioner, welcome.
Tom, thank you. Glad to be here.
Commissioner, it's spring sports, I know, but we would be remiss if we didn't talk about basketball in the TAC this year, because I thought it's always good, but I thought it was extraordinary this year. So let's again get your thoughts on it. I'm going to start off with the Ottawa Hills girls, Coach Mercer, who does a fantastic job. I believe he was 16-0 at one juncture. Do they have three sets of twins on that team? Which I believe there were three sets of twins.
Well, Tom, they were undefeated in the league, 16-0, and the only loss they suffered during the regular season was to Evergreen. And then Evergreen was the team that ousted him from the tournament.
Right.
He's got a very nice team coming back. Will probably be preseason favorites, but was losing a very good point guard in Abby Dwyer.
Dwyer, that's where I was going to go.
Yeah.
The young lady, Dwyer, I love the way she attacked the basket, how aggressive she was, all over the floor. But Olivia Van Sluten, she can play. Block shots, she's got a nice little turnaround in the paint, rebound. She can do a lot of things.
She could be a possible Division I player next year, depending upon how hard she works. As well as being a coach, knowing that you earn your hair,
right.
Basically in the off season.
Right.
That's where you become a better player.
Yeah, you break your game down.
Exactly.
And you say, here's what I want to get better
Exactly
at.
Right. And so therefore, she can probably mark her own territory as to where she wants to be, depending on how hard she works in the off season.
Yeah, and for people that don't know, I know most everybody in town knows you, Rick, but you're a great coach, great official, now commissioner. So you've seen the game from every vantage point, and we need to get you in the broadcast booth. That'll be the next thing. But really, you've seen it from all perspectives, and you've been outstanding at all the different areas that you've been involved in. So you bring great insight. On the boys' side, Gibsonburg, they had and I know you know his name. They had the guard who could, he was a 20-plus guy every night. They had a big man that could play. They were a good basketball team.
Well, what's amazing is that it was a all-TAC district final. We had Tilda Christian, we had Gibsonburg, as you said, Ottawa Hills, and Cardinal Stritch. And Gibsonburg was undefeated going into that game in the district, and lost to Toledo Christian. Toledo Christian beat Gibsonburg, and therefore then it made an all-TAC final with Cardinal Stritch beating Ottawa Hills.
Right.
And Ottawa Hills probably made some of the greatest strides from the beginning of the season to the end, and Stritch was amazing. Jamie Ketchmarek did such a wonderful job getting those kids to play. He had a primetime player who's going Division II to Urbana College, that's Austin Adams, and he was just phenomenal throughout the entire tournament. And it's amazing. You never know when it's going to happen. Look at Kentucky, 38-0 and lost their first game, and Gibsonburg 23-0. Brent Lisky, who was the coach of the year, and Jason Craiglow was the player of the year from Gibsonburg, and it was just one of those nights. I always say you couldn't throw it in the ocean if they were standing on the beach.
Right.
And it was a great basketball season, and it's been that way. Ottawa Hills has been just wearing everybody out. In our league and in the area. And it was just a great thrill to go into Lakota High School and have four of our teams be there to represent the TAC.
The old coach, Al McGuire, great, phenomenal coach with Marquette. Older folks will remember him, and maybe one of the great color broadcasters of all time on college basketball. But he used to not throw a game, but when he was going into the NCAA, he didn't mind losing one. He always believed that if you went into the NCAA undefeated, or you ran through your league and went to the tournament, he didn't mind dropping one because he thought statistically the odds were going to catch up with you, that you were going to have an off night.
And bullseye's on your back.
Yeah.
And it was like Kentucky. Every game was like a world championship for the team that played them.
Yeah, no question. And Austin Adams, you mentioned him. A 20-10-5 guy every night. I was calling him the Pickle Road Flash. Really an incredible basketball player. If you really watched what he could do, he could take people off the dribble. He could elevate. He could finish at the rim. He had an outside jumper. He was the first guy to pass the basketball when somebody's open. It wasn't a, hey, it's all about me deal. I thoroughly enjoyed his play.
I thought for his first 3 years he was very unselfish, almost to a fault.
Right.
And such an athlete. Very, very athletic on the court. And as you said, could jump and shoot and play inside. He was very well-rounded high school basketball player.
No question. And Ottawa Hills and the boys, Coach Lindsay, every year, year in, year out, he does a phenomenal job. And Hunter Sieben, I thought, was a really good player for him.
They're going to be very good next year, too, because Hunter was a sophomore, and I forget the young man's name, but they also have a post player that was only a sophomore, about 6'5", 6'6". So watch for Ottawa Hills again. That's one of the, probably one of the best staffs in town when you've got John Lindsay, and then, you got Tim Reiser as his assistant.
That's not bad.
No, not bad at all.
They know a little bit of basketball.
They know a little bit about hoops. Yes, sir.
In Toledo Christian, Dave McQuinney, I've always admired what he's done with his kids. And he had a young man we chatted about off-air, Commissioner Kyle Kempton. It was 15 and 10 every night, 15 points, 10 rebounds. And if you don't know, you've coached it, officiated it so well. That's tough to get in a short high school game. Night in, night out, 15 and 10. That isn't easy. He's a great athlete.
Outstanding baseball player too, Tom. Dave McGuinney may be the hardest working coach on the sideline in the area.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you what.
I kid him about sweating. He says he sweats through the shirt, halfway
Not
through.
only does he sweat, and he works those officials real hard,
Does
too.
he get after him pretty good?
Yeah. He gets after him pretty good.
Yeah,
I know that from experience.
Well, it's been a great basketball season in the TAC. There's no question. Baseball underway. We'll just briefly, I'll just throw it out. Girls softball in the TAC.
I got to believe Gibsonburg, who has a very renowned program in Northwest Ohio, and Stritch, I think, are the two favorites.
Okay.
And in baseball, I would go with Toledo Christian, and probably Gibsonburg, and probably Stritch. It's so early in the season. The weather's been horrible.
Yeah.
Whatever they're getting out of these kids right now, I just hope that by next week, we get the 75, 80-degree weather where the kids can really play baseball.
It's tough because if you're inside throwing in a gym, taking grounders on a gym floor is a little different than when you go outside in the Toledo weather. We don't get summer in Toledo till July almost. It's a tougher deal.
Sometimes people think that we ought to flip-flop the spring sports with the fall sports because the fall weather is so much nicer than the spring weather.
Yeah, it's been tough lately. There's no question. Commissioner, you run an incredible league. We've been privileged to be partners with you for a long time now, and the thing that stands out to me is every time we do a TAC event, it's great coaches, great kids, great competitiveness, sportsmanship. Academics always come first, and they all promote one another. The collegial element of it is incredible. This is a special league, and it's incredible to me how that is accomplished, because a lot of leagues, there's some people that do it and then other people that don't. Everybody kind of follows that template in the TAC.
I'll tell you, there's an emphasis on the student athlete in the TAC, and the athletes themselves, take great pride in their academic achievement. Right. The athletic directors, there's a great camaraderie. There's nothing that can't be settled at the table. The coaches, as you say, get along very, very well, and there's just not that type of competitiveness that's off the charts. It's they're going to compete.
It's for the good of the league things and the good of the kids.
Yes,
because I've sat in a couple of your meetings. You let us in a couple of times, and I was always amazed at that. It was, what's the greater good here for the kids, the coaches, the league?
Sportsmanship is top of the chart.
Yeah.
We really force our people to really rely on sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is very important in the TAC.
Commissioner, on the way out, I know you can't name names, but we were chatting, and I think it's important to let people in. Certainly expansion down the road is going to become of great import to your league. Talk a little bit, as much as you can talk about that.
Well, we are losing Tiffin Calvert after next season.
Right.
And so therefore, we're shopping around. We're looking for somebody who may be interested in a great league. We've got some people that we're looking at, and hopefully they're looking at us. And hopefully we can get somebody who's a fine match, both academically as well as athletically. Because we have a strong emphasis on academics in this league. And like I've told you before, Tom, I think that's one of the best small school leagues in Northwest Ohio. The competitiveness in all sports is fantastic, and it all fits together. And that's what's important to make this a league.
The balance that you have, nothing is out of balance. The academics are there, the coaching's there, the sportsmanship is there. It's all in balance. And some leagues, and nothing pejorative to them, but on occasion it gets a little, the scale tips one way maybe more than it should. And you guys always have that balance. So.
I want to throw one thing out before we conclude, is that you don't understand how much the coaches, the athletic directors, the principals appreciate BCSN.
Oh,
they have done a great job in promoting high school athletics, not only just the majors like football
Right.
and basketball, but you do it all. You know,
Thank
and the coaches appreciate it, the athletic directors appreciate it, and we enjoy the partnership that we have with BCSN. I just wish that you guys were alive and well and kicking when I was coaching back in the '80s.
Right.
You know, because we would have had probably some airtime with some of the teams that I had.
You're right, Commissioner. And if I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I could retire tomorrow, because people appreciate the fact that their games are on. I mean, when we coached or we played, I mean, even get Jerry Kyle broadcast on a little grainy tape radio thing. That's just I mean, to be able to see your games and have them on DVDs is incredible, really, and it makes a difference. So
it does for the kids
and the parents,
for the parents,
the grandparents,
the community.
Yeah,
it's just a great thing. It really is.
It's been a great partnership, and we're proud to be associated with what you stand for. Your mission statement and ours are exactly the same. So, Commissioner, on behalf of Buckeye Cable and BCSN, keep up the great work, and we're going to do this again.
Okay, Tom. Thank you so much.
My honor.
Appreciate it.
My honor, Commissioner. Tom Cooley, coach for Buckeye Cable and BCSN.